Hello, this is McD the Beast, and this is McD Sports 4 coming to you today with my Alabama football predictions for the 2023 college football season. Before I continue, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel. Greatly appreciate if you do that. Really try to grow the channel, so go ahead and do that. So Alabama last year, a bit of a disappointment. They didn't even make it to the SEC championship game. Finished the year 11-2 with a Sugar Bowl win over Kansas State, a team that they were just far more superior than. They showed on the field. I believe the final score of the game was like 45-14, something like that. Um, Alabama this year. Listen, the expectations of championship. They're number 3 in the McD Sports 4 top 25 poll, so go check that video out because that's the order I'm doing my college football predictions in. Um, Look at Alabama. I mean, as I said, the expectations championship. They have a bunch of big games this year. They lose Bryce Young. It's a big loss. They bring in the transfer from Notre Dame, Tyler Buckner Jr. We'll see what happens there. Um, Nick Saban, in my opinion, is still the best coach in college football. I know people try to make the argument that Kirby's better right now. Uh, I'm still taking Saban, but we'll see what happens this year. Um, Over under is at 10.5. If you look at FanDuel, FPI, they are second in the FPI and the that's kind of like a ranking, like a talent ranking. Best case and worst case scenario. Best case scenario is 12-0. Worst case scenario is 8-4. Listen, you look at this schedule. I mean, there's losable games all over the place. Week 2 is a losable game against Texas. I think the Ole Miss game is losable in week 4. A&M, which is the swing game I have for Alabama this year. Texas A&M. That's your swing game, and the reason why I put that down as a swing game is because the past 2 years that game has been pretty close. You guys lost on a last second field goal last time Alabama was down in College Station. Last year, granted, you were playing Jalen Malore, and got out there with a win, but it was a one possession win. Tennessee, you lost that game last year. That to me could be is definitely a losable game. LSU is a losable game. I think at Kentucky is a losable game, and at Auburn is a losable game. So there's several losable games. So that's why I have your worst case scenario as 8-4 in the regular season. So we'll see what happens. Let's get right into the schedule. Go game by game. I'll explain my thought process through each one, and then I'll give you guys a final record. So let's get into it. Alabama, their first game is at home against Middle Tennessee. I think they beat Middle Tennessee. I respect Middle Tennessee as a football program, but at the end of the day, Alabama just has the better talent. It's at home. I expect Alabama to win this game pretty convincingly as well. This game won't be close. Go ahead and give me Middle Tennessee. Excuse me. Go ahead and give me Alabama to beat Middle Tennessee. Week 2, at home against Texas. Now, some people have chalked this up as an L for Alabama. A lot of people thought last year if Quinn Ewers didn't get injured, Texas would have won that game. I'm not one of those people. I think Alabama would still found a way to win that game. Now, granted, I do think Texas last year got screwed out of a safety. I do think that. But overall, the game's in Tuscaloosa. I will make Alabama probably like a 12-14 favorite point favorite in this one. I went with Alabama. Um, and I think Alabama might win this by 2 possessions. If I had to put a score in this game, it'll be something like 30-23 Alabama, maybe something like 30-20 Alabama. Um, I think with it being in Tuscaloosa, it's gonna be a night game there. Um, I think Alabama takes not so much takes care of business, but I think they win this game and get a big win at home to kick off the season. Week 3 is on the road against South Florida. Kind of a weird game going on the road for Alabama against a group of 5 opponent. But if you think about it, why maybe Alabama agreed to this is because it's in Tampa, it's in an NFL stadium. I think this game's going to be pretty packed full of Alabama fans. I like Alabama to beat South Florida. I think this is basically going to be a home game for them. Um, and I think Alabama takes care of business against a South Florida team that's going to have a first year head coach, and it's going to probably be a bit of a long rebuild there at South Florida. Next game, you kick off SEC play at home against Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss, Last year, you went into Oxford and won a close game. It's at home in Tuscaloosa. I think you guys win the game. Could be a one possession game though. Again, I think Alabama. If I had to put a score to this, I'll say something like 38-30. Alabama's the final. I really think that Alabama will win this game, but I think at the same time, won't be surprised if Ole Miss pulls off the upset. Next game is on the road against Mississippi State. Mississippi State, I don't think it's going to be as good as they were last year. New head coach, unfortunately, with that situation, how that transpired. Um, but I do think Mississippi State made the right hire. But at the same time, it's a completely different philosophy going there. I think Mississippi State honestly may struggle to make a bowl game this year. I know it's in Stark Vegas. I still think Alabama goes ahead and wins this game by probably 2 to 3 touchdowns. If I had to put a score on it, I'll probably go something like Alabama 41-21, something like that. I don't think this game's going to be that competitive. Um, you could make the argument as a look ahead spot ahead of Texas A&M. You can make that argument, but at the same time, I'm gonna go ahead and say that Alabama beats Mississippi State pretty comfortably. Next game is on the road against Texas A&M. A lot of people are picking Alabama to lose this game or get upset in this game. I disagree. I think this game is circled for Alabama, and I think Alabama actually wins this game pretty easily. I actually think Alabama could win this game by as much as 3, 4 touchdowns, if you want my honest opinion. I think this thing could turn into a blowout. If I had to put a score on it, I'll probably only say by about 2 touchdowns right now. If I had to put a score on it, I'll probably go something like, I don't know. I mean, maybe something like 31-17 Alabama. But at the end of the day, this game's going to be circled. I do think Texas A&M is going to be a lot better than what they were last year. They bring a lot back, actually. But at the same time, Alabama's the better team. As I said, I think this game's going to be circled. Go ahead and give me the Crimson Tide to win this game. Next game is at home against Arkansas, homecoming. Arkansas has been known to give Alabama some tough games. And I think that continues. I do like Sam Pittman. I do like um Arkansas. Maybe not so high on them this year, but I do like them to be competitive in a bunch of their games this year. But I think Alabama wins this game. Um, but I do think this game's going to be probably, if I had, I guess, a spread on this game going into it, it might be a 20-25 point spread. But at the same time, I do think I would take Arkansas anything plus 15 and over because I think that Arkansas is going to be kind of competitive in this one. But Alabama wins the game at the end of the day. Next game, third Saturday of October against Tennessee at home. This game is going to be circled for Alabama, and they're going to win this game at home. I do think Tennessee has a shot in this game, but at the same time, and I said this about Tennessee when I made the Georgia video. By the way, go check out my Georgia football prediction video. Um, Tennessee just does not have NFL talent on the defense. I think Alabama takes advantage of that. Wins it, at worst finds a way to beat Tennessee at home and gets a big win at home against Tennessee heading into the bye week. So I have Alabama starting out the year 8-0. Next game coming out of the bye week is at home against LSU. LSU is a team that the football prediction video will be the next one you see. If this was a matchup was week 1, it will be number 3 versus number 4. I'm pretty high on LSU this year. With that being said, though, the game's in Tuscaloosa. This game will be circled, in my opinion, after what happened last year with Alabama losing that game in double overtime. I like Alabama to go ahead and win this game at home in Tuscaloosa. I think they find a way to win it. Very physical game. I think very emotional game as well. But I think Alabama maybe this could be a type of game Alabama walks off with a last second field goal or something. Um, so I'm gonna go ahead and take Alabama to win this game against LSU, and they start the year 9-0. Now next game on the road against Kentucky. Kentucky is a team that I am high on this year. Kentucky is a team that I feel like is the second best team in the SEC East. Kentucky is a team that throughout the years, Mark Stoops had put together some great 10-win seasons. Hasn't really gotten a signature win per se for Kentucky since he's been there. But I think that changes this year. And I know Alabama fans aren't going to like this, but I just have a feeling I think Kentucky pulls off the upset at home against Alabama this year. Um, I'll admit Alabama's the better team. I'll admit that Alabama should probably be about a 10-point favorite in this one, at least. Probably more like a 12 to 14-point favorite. But upsets happen. I struggled with Alabama going undefeated this year. I couldn't sit there and come on here and say that Alabama was going to go undefeated this year. I also, however, looking at the schedule, thought that they will win all the games that people expected them to lose because because I think all the three games that people are probably picking Alabama to lose, if any, are Texas A&M, Tennessee, and LSU. Um, all three of those games are going to be circled for Alabama for one reason or another. Kentucky is coming off at probably a very physical game against LSU. It's on the road. I think Kroger Field is going to be rocking. I think Lexington is going to be rocking. I see the upset. I'm calling for the upset on the road against Kentucky. I think Kentucky finds a way to wins that game, and Alabama suffers their first loss of the year. I think Mark Stoops finally gets that signature win that he's been looking for at least the past few years there at Kentucky. Next game is at home against Chattanooga. Not going to spend much time on this. Alabama will get the win against the FCS opponent. Final game of the year on the road against Auburn. I'm not high on Auburn this year. With that being said, Alabama has been known to struggle a lot in Jordan Hare. I do think Alabama wins the game though, and I actually think Alabama might win this game kind of easily. I'm not, as I said, I'm not high on Auburn. I know people say, "Oh, Payne Thorne's coming in, the transfer from Michigan State. Auburn's gonna be fine at quarterback." Uh, Let me tell you this: Bo Nix is 1,000 times better than Payne Thorne. Payne Thorne will not change life in Auburn. Um, I think if I have hit a score on this one, I would actually probably pick Alabama to win this game, something like 38-24, at least, maybe even a bit more of a far bigger margin than that. I just don't see. I I I think Auburn is probably competitive in the first half against Alabama, but I think Alabama pulls away, gets the win to finish out the year in the Iron Bowl. So I have Alabama going 11-1, 7-1 in the SEC with that one loss against Kentucky. And I know, and listen, as I said, I know Alabama fans. That's probably not the game that you want to lose, but as I said, watch my Kentucky. Stay tuned for my. Eventually, I'm going to be releasing my Kentucky football prediction video. I think you'll understand why I have that picked. Because I'm very high on Kentucky this year. So that's the prediction: 11-1, 7-1 in the SEC. Comment down below. Tell me what you think you have Alabama going. I always like hearing from you all. Thanks for watching the video. Hit the thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel. I greatly appreciate you do that. McD the Beast signing off.